you can see that this is going to be a party because we are all the way live at the Backhouse.
Yes.
And I am so excited to be here with owners Derek and Tara Purnell. And not only are we live, we are all the way live.
All the way live.
All the way live.
All the way live.
I have this wonderful lady sitting next to me. Her name is Voncie L. Coach V. So Voncie L. English is in the building today. But before we get to this, okay, give it up for Voncie. Thank you for our studio audience. I think that song got everybody wanting to start a Soul Train line. Right. Voncie L. at the peace side. You know, we used to do that back in the day. I'm not going to tell my age.
Oh, well, no.
So we want to thank our segment sponsor today, Miss Marie Consulting, from owners Christina Mendez. So we want to thank Marie Consulting. Marie Consulting provides assistance with resumes, cover letters, LinkedIn profile overhaul, some of y'all need that, interview coaching, and much, much more. Get ready to take control of your life and get hired fast with Marie Consulting with owner Christina Mendez. So her website information will be listed in the contacts below. So if you need help with resumes, if you're doing a career switch or change, cover letters, LinkedIn, some people don't know what it is, but you should definitely be there and you should be having a following there. If you need interview coaching because you're transitioning in your career, Marie Consulting with owner Christina Mendez can help you, and there will be much more information about her. So we thank her for sponsoring today's segment. Thank you. I was so hyped. I don't think I introduced myself. I'm Phillitia Charlton.
Yes.
And I'm excited to be here hosting live at the Backhouse with Voncie L. English. So Coach V. Yes. And I have had the pleasure of seeing you in a lot of circles and some professional development activities and just some empowerment things. So I'm excited that you're sitting on this side with me today.
I know, I am too.
So can you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, that is the interview question, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
People are like, she better do good on this. Well, my name is Voncie English. My background is in human resources. So in the last 18 years, I've opened 3 businesses in Dayton. The casino on Needmore in 2014. I opened Christmas tree shops by the Dayton Mall in 2008. And then the Town Place Suites in 2008 as well. So after going through that, I went through a few hard times in my life and connected with the Lord, and I'm now doing a full-time job, and also where I'm an employment and advancement coach with Goodwill. Right. With the program. Yes, with a program called Miami Valley Works.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. And I also am a full-time entrepreneur, so that's the Perfect English Development Solutions, where I can do most of my faith-based, which is where my heart is, the coaching for that.
Well, I mean, you just said a lot, so I'm going to take it all the way back, or back that thing up. Some of y'all know the song, don't act like it's just me. So don't do that. But I'm going to back up a little bit. Okay. And you said you own 3 businesses. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Well,
that you opened 3 businesses.
Opened, yeah. The mass hiring and recruiting. I love that aspect of HR. I love people, but I love being able to do that in a bigger capacity, because one of my gifts is being able to thrive in a fast-paced environment. So that was just awesome for me. At the time I was at the casino, I hired and trained over 800 people.
Wow.
In that aspect. So, I mean, doing that and opening a Marriott, which is awesome. And then Christmas tree shops. I mean, some of you may have shopped there.
I can see them.
Yes. So I opened that, and that was also, retail is an animal, but I was grateful to God to be able to get that experience in such a diverse type of experience as well.
Okay, so you did that phenomenal work. You dealt with a lot of people. You were very successful there. But then you said you transitioned. So tell me about that transition from being that person who's opening up these places and these businesses. And then what was the transition and what did it look like?
Well, I think after I went to Central State,
okay,
go Marauders, for my undergrad, I was in entrepreneurship and hospitality management.
Okay.
So that's mainly what I used. But I'm like, when you train people, you don't necessarily get to see them through development and growth. You train them, you see them one time, and then unless you're the supervisor, you don't necessarily get to see what can they improve upon, what's their gift. So I think the transition for me was being able to connect with God to find my gift and to see how God helped me overcome death in the family and just different life obstacles that people struggle with. So it was really helpful to be able to go, you know what, Lord, I think I want to coach people now. I think I want to switch from customer service to HR to coaching. So, I prayed on the opportunity at Miami Valley Works, and it's been excellent. It's been excellent. I actually have...
Well, it sounds like you're really good at it from the response that I'm hearing here. And so I was going to ask you a little bit about it, but you kind of told me about that. So how do you make that transition from being by day the coach at work and then transitioning to your services that you provide in your business?
It's basically the same type of work. I mean, when you love people and you're devoted to the type of people that you come across. Now, in my business, it's more faith-based, but I also do regular coaching. So I do career coaching, but the encouragement coaching comes when I use more of a faith-based approach. And a lot of my clients during my day job, they're believers. So they really need that spiritual tie, because as you develop in life and overcome things, you need a holistic approach. It's not just professional, it's not just personal. There's all kinds of different dynamics that go on that tie to our spirit and our soul.
And I know that you are very convicted in that. So how long have you been in your coaching business?
Well, I started Perfect English back in 2009, and it was based on customer service, because I'm a big customer service buff, and I really want to be able to go into a restaurant and have good service.
I'm going to send you to a couple of restaurants.
Whoa, I used to do reviews and leave it on the table with my business card.
We're going to talk afterwards, because I've been upset about some of the service I have received as of late, but I'm telling. But go ahead. Go ahead.
It's like that. So a lot of people are not fulfilled in their jobs. They look at it kind of different. So starting it back in 2019 to go back to your, or 2009 to go back to your question, I was just a sole proprietorship. So as I started going forward in my business, in my calling, I said, you know what? So in 2017, I became an LLC, and I just added Perfect English Development Solutions. So I just want to clarify, because a lot of people think it has to do with English or speaking, so back when I created it in 2009, it was service linguistics. How does customer service speak to you? It's a language of service that you communicate to the customer. So Perfect English was basically how service communicates. So just because my last name is English, and I'm not at any means saying I'm perfect, so just to clear that up right now.
But I think it's very important to know that your last name is English.
Right.
I think that's a huge component.
I had to make that clear.
And make it very clear to everybody that the name of your business is because of your last name as well, in addition to some of the goals that you initially had. You started with those goals and then you expanded upon it, but her last name is English.
Yes.
So that is not only, and Mom is excited about that. You don't see her in the background here. But that's important to know, so people don't put you in a box in terms of what you're offering.
Exactly. Putting people in a box or pigeonholing people, which is a term I found out from a previous coworker, it just doesn't work when you have a gift. When you have a gift, you don't fit in a category. You don't fit in a box. You're made unique, and sometimes it's different, and people can't put you in a box, and then they go, well, he or she isn't thriving. Well, they're not thriving because that's not what they're talented at. That's not what they're gifted at. So, being in employment and human resources is a lot of things that organizations, I believe, need to change, to not concentrate on human capital, but human beings, and put that emotion in being.
And I think that from what I'm hearing, that would resonate with me, because you're not asking me what's my bottom line. You're asking me, how are you doing?
Exactly.
Because before I can care about your bottom line, I have to be okay with myself when I come into the place of employment. So tell me, in your coaching business, what does your ideal client look like? Who comes to you, and how do you service those clients?
That's a good question. Right now, I've been working with 2 entrepreneurs. So I went with a client to her event, helped set up, help her develop her marketing material. I really like that, but then I also still coach her on a personal level. So it really just depends on the need of the client. I also have another client who's an entrepreneur, but hers is more spiritual and faith-based. Now, both of them do have a major calling on their life, but the one, she's getting ready to go to another level. So it's very important for people to know that when you go to a next level in life, in your career, in your calling, there's going to be opposition. There's going to be possibly affliction and sickness. Yes. So a lot of times people don't realize that attack to be able to overcome that. So that's why the obstacles that we face, we have to get through them. And I believe God has gifted me to be an encouragement coach, to be able to say, you can get through this. This too shall pass. And as long as you get through this, you can succeed.
I'm encouraged as we speak right now, because I think that it's so important that in addition to offering spirituality and positivity, you're offering reality. Because sometimes we hear that we should be happy no matter what.
Right.
That everything, if we just believe, and I'm not talking about spiritually, I'm talking about believe in the moment. And if we just stay positive, that everything will be okay. And sometimes everything's not okay.
It's not. And it's okay to not be okay. Because in those moments, those are what I call the roadblocks that build you. So basically, you have to use that. You have to go, how is this going to develop me? What do I need to learn from it? How can I look at it positive and differently? Because a lot of times when we get those, we look at it in a negative connotation, so we don't understand what skill that we need to gain out of that. And that's even with jobs. Every job that you have is an assignment. I mean, seriously, whether you believe in God or not, whether you're saved or not, every job you have is meant to develop you, develop your character, help you grow in faith, be patient. Help you deal with people. So if you're dealing with somebody who is irate, God is saying, okay, what you gonna do with this person? Are you gonna quit your job and then go from job to job to job when you run into the same type of person? No, that's something that is to be developed in you to create better skills, more self-control, and to be able to communicate better with all types of people.
Say that.
So I would ask you, this is a new age of coaching. And it's because we're starting to understand that we are more than just our careers. And we are more than just our education. And we're starting to understand that we need more help and more personal development with this. So what is your philosophy? I know you've talked about what you believe, and I know you've talked about how you come up. What is your philosophy, and how do you communicate that to your clients?
Well, the tagline of Perfect English is don't just work, employ your gift. So I do have Romans 11:29, which is on my card, that the gift and call of God are irrevocable. So no matter if you connect to it, if you do it, it's there. It's untapped potential waiting on you to tap into it. But Colossians 3:23 says to work as if you're working for the Lord and not for men. So if you put your best foot forward on a daily basis and you work like you're working for God, you will get rewarded from Him. Not necessarily your paycheck, but it's something in us that we need to develop and strive. So as far as mottos go, I think that it would have to be working as if I work towards working for God and not for men. And I convey that to my clients. I can tell them, you need to just move past it, or you need to do this. And sometimes they don't want to listen to what I got to say. Sometimes they don't. But at the end of the day, I think it is confirmed. There's an area business who, and I won't mention the name, but they just started implementing case managers. So on site, they have case managers that are able to deal with and coach employees, maybe if they have high absenteeism, dealing with personal issues, deaths in the family. How do you expect people to continue to work and go to work if they haven't dealt with those personal problems? And are you giving them leeway to do so? So, and that's going to make them more productive. That's going to increase performance. That's going to decrease turnover. All that is tied into the human being.
And that's all I kept hearing was just putting humanity back into HR. Putting, instead of, like I said, bottom lines, because there are a lot of obstacles and hardships. Can you give us
an example of something that you've overcome to get you here? Because a lot of times when we sit over here, people are like, well, I'm not like that, or I couldn't do that, or she looks like she has it all together. So can you talk about I know we could be here all night, but just one obstacle or a couple of obstacles that you've overcome and how you got to this mindset to be so free?
Ooh, freedom, Lord. Where do I start? Where do I start? I think more recently, probably, because I have my undergrad, I have a master's. People are like, how did you do it? Well, we'll just concentrate on the time between my getting the first degree.
Okay.
So, death of my father at the age of 16. He died at home of a heart attack, and I was going to CTC at the time, so I was certified in CPR, and I had to give him CPR while he was dying at 16.
Wow.
So it affected me to where I couldn't deal with it, so I turned to drugs, I turned to alcohol, and what a lot of people don't know is that's why I was in the streets, that's why I was at the bars, that's why I was with this dude or this dude, because I was dealing with something internally. And see, a lot of people tend to judge on the outside and don't know what anyone is going through on the inside. And that's why God says don't judge anyone, because you don't know how you would have reacted in the same situation that they're in. Period. So yes. So in that time, I spent a lot of time in the streets. And I mean, even my mom knows. I mean, I need money for bills. I need this, I need that. And, I was a straight A student. I was doing well, but that just took me in a downward spiral. So it lasted for a very long time. And no one would ever even imagine I would get 1 degree, let alone sit here with my master's. All glory to God. Thank you, Lord.
Yes. Congratulations. But I love transparency.
Oh, yes.
I demand truth in my life. And I just thank you for being vulnerable and open. Because, sister, you don't look like what you've been through. So somebody needs to hear. Yeah, you need to tell it, and people need to hear it. They need to know that just because you're in a situation does not mean you're stuck, and doesn't mean you have to stay there.
You're not. And I was stuck for a long time, and I didn't think I would come out of that. And I met a very, very strong man, Bryant. Hi, Bryant.
Hi,
Bryant. And he said, "What are you doing?" Like, and I remember, I grew up in the church. My grandfather was a preacher. I loved the Lord, but he would talk to me about Jesus, and I was so far gone in my demons. I said, why you got to keep talking about Jesus? I don't want to hear about Jesus no more. And I was in I was in that place where I couldn't, I look back at it now. He said, remember what you said, that you didn't want to hear about me? And now he's just a part of my life. So being able to make that transition to get my mind right, because I didn't do it alone. I didn't do it by myself.
Right.
I had help. I had supporters. I had people who didn't give up on me. But most importantly, I had God.
That's awesome. So one of the things I'm hearing from you that is so important as people begin to think about coaching services is their surroundings. Not just their circumstance, but who they're surrounding themselves with. Because you just said, I did not do it alone.
Right.
I think that is so important. So tell us when the aha moment came. Like you said, you told us about the pain and some of the results of that. But when did that moment come where you were like, you know what, no more. I'm done. I need to go. This is not working for me.
You know what? I have to really be honest. I think it was last year.
Okay.
Last year, because I was still dibbling and dabbling. We still live the Christian life, and we still go, oh, I'm gonna drink this, I'm gonna smoke this, I'm gonna smoke that, you know what I'm saying? And I did, and I just kept hearing God in my head, like, this one thing, let go of this one thing. And I was struggling with that, because there's a lot of things that and maybe not even a lot for some people, but if God is trying to take you to that next level, that upper level, it's going to be some things that you cannot take with you. Yes, you have to let go of them. So, between 3 months of suffering with heart attack symptoms, then another 3 months of vertigo symptoms, and feeling like I was going to have a stroke, it was overwhelming. But I kept strong. And when I went to the hospital, I said, I don't think I want to be here. So I said, Lord, your word is medicine, so I need you to heal me. But, that aha moment was like, you know what? I think I want to come up higher. I think I want to do better I know I want to do better better in my life, and I know that I'm ready to embrace my calling. So that is when I got the ultimate confidence to be transparent, to stand on a foundation, and to be able to go, this is who I am, this is where I came from, but this is also where I'm going, and I'm ready to help and develop anyone I can to make it to that same level that I made it to.
That's awesome. Yes. I mean, that's just awesome. So how do we find you?
Well, you can find me on Facebook with PE Development Solutions.
Okay.
I do a lot on Instagram at Employer Gift, Twitter at Employer Gift, but I'm not a good tweeter, just FYI. And on my website at employyourgift.com. So you can also, whether it be Instagram or my website, you can schedule an appointment, you can book a consultation. I do career services as well. Some people ask me for resumes, which originally starting off, I was doing pro bono HR work, doing resumes and helping with cover letters.
We love you, but we have to eat too, so picking our brain, that cost. So, we do what God asks us to do, but we have to eat as well.
So I'm glad that you are taking your gift and utilizing it in a way to serve others while not depleting yourself.
Right.
And you don't have to apologize for that.
So I just want to say that too, because if people feel like, you're a coach, you should help me. It's like I can help you with wherever I'm led to help you, but there also is a program
that I can help you with as well.
That's right.
And so I'm glad that you said that, not being just being unapologetic about having a program and offering a service that you obviously are an expert in, that you obviously are educated in, and that you obviously have the training in.
And I appreciate that coming from you, a best businesswoman right here.
Thank you. I'm still learning. I'm still growing, and that's where I've seen
I
you.
am too.
We met each other learning and growing.
We did.
And we keep
We
running
did.
into each other. So I'm just
Yes, we
excited
do.
about that.
I am
Like
too.
I always see you as a servant, but you're always willing to learn from others. And I think
got
that's
to
what
be.
makes you a phenomenal coach.
You got to be. And actually, one of my clients that's in the audience, she always says to remain teachable. So that's one thing that she always reminds me of, is just to always be teachable, because I'll be honest, a lot of problems people have too nowadays is pride. And I dealt with pride. And I mean, if you think about it, as we grow up, it's like, great job, you did this, you did that. So we start building up that pride at a younger age. So I think now I'm able to deal with it and humble myself and to be teachable and remain teachable.
And you know what, to understand that, and thank you for this is your segment, but thank you for mentioning that I'm a coach as well.
Oh, yes.
Because there's enough for everybody. You offer what you offer, I offer what I offer. We come together, but we all do it in the name of service, in the name of empowerment, in the name of making people better and sharing our testimonies, which we are compelled to do. So I think
If you need coaching,
okay, right here. And the other thing too that I think is important is, have you met some people who are not your ideal client before we go?
Probably, well, I'm going to say this. I think that they remove themselves.
Okay.
So I have had a few people, they reached out to me. They were very excited. Then all of a sudden, communication fell off. Crickets. And I didn't know how to handle that when I got the first one. And I go, did I do something wrong? So I'm texting them, making sure their phone's still on. And I said, I don't want to be a bugaboo. But is there something I can answer for you? So, I mean, I do realize that every coach isn't for every person.
Yes.
There's different coaches that people are going to gravitate to, that the personality clicks, and that has a skill or a gift that's specifically needed for that person.
Okay.
So
yes.
I just realized that client was not meant for me. They didn't want to commit, and maybe it wasn't the right time for them. So I really don't have, or a person that maybe not be an ideal client. It's all about if they're ready to change, and if I have the gift that can help develop them and pour into them so they can get better.
You sure do.
And that was important for me because just because you're available doesn't mean everybody is willing or ready.
True.
Because you do have to be coachable and you do have to desire to follow the program.
That's true.
And so that's what I'm saying too. For people out there who are thinking about it, people out there who might not be ready, just keep watching. Keep listening. She gave us all of her resources. She gave us every place that she's listed. Follow her. See what she's doing. See what she's talking about. And see if it matches with what you actually need. And if you're not ready, that's okay. Keep doing the research and keep investing in yourself. And eventually you will be ready.
That's right. And I do want to mention that I am working on a product, and I want to mention timing, because some people that are going into what they want to go into, first of all, figure out if this is what you're gifted for, if you're supposed to go into it. Secondly, there's a timing involved. So even when I started Perfect English in 2009, I've evolved over time, and it's evolved into what I believe once you get to that level, what you're supposed to be doing. But I'm working on a project and a product right now that addresses how we start our day and how we end our day, and being able to connect with God at the beginning and at the end, because you don't want to take the troubles and negativity of this day into the next. So if we ain't supposed to worry about tomorrow, today, we sure ain't supposed to be worrying about yesterday, today.
Yes. So you just mentioned that. So how do I know which package is for me when I go to your services and products?
Well, right now I offer 2 different types of coaching.
Okay.
So it's just, the regular coaching, which is not faith-based, and then the encouragement coaching. So being a full-time, having a day job, because I'm working this. I'm a hustler with my full-time entrepreneurship and the day job.
You're doing it.
So I'm actually not taking any new clients at this moment because I am at capacity, but I am going to start some new things where I can get women and men engaged to be empowered on different things, so that way they can still, be able to connect with me.
That's so powerful that she's not taking any new clients because she wants to ensure the integrity of what she's doing.
Yes.
So I think that's awesome to not care about volume necessarily, but to care about the product delivery. And so that just shows your integrity. So when those spaces open up, you guys better get ready to be with Vanciel Coach V. Okay?
Right.
So,
Yes.
just one more question.
Okay.
One more question for you. What do you like to do?
What do I like to do? On a daily basis?
I'm not going to help you.
You're not going to...
I'm going to let you come up with what you like to do and how you unwind and what's fun for you. Just outside, because we got into the business, but what do you like to do? What's fun?
I like bowling.
Okay.
I'm a great bowler. I like
Not a good bowler, but a great bowler.
I'm a great bowler, yes.
So you bowl a 300?
Not that good. I didn't say pro bowler. I'm a great bowler, but not a pro bowler. But yeah, being a bowler, but I'm in a season now where I'm in a hustle season.
Okay.
I'm doing a lot of things, so I get a little bit of downtime. I like to read.
Okay.
I like to read, yes.
What are you reading?
Right now, I am reading Kingdom Ministries by Kenneth Hagin.
Okay.
That's what I'm reading right now. So being able to identify deeper and learn. You got to learn and develop your gift. You just can't get it and have it and just think it's going to work on its own. You got to put some effort into that.
And my point is, isn't it important to be well-rounded, not to be so career-driven?
Yes.
That you don't lose your personality and you don't lose your zest for life.
You do have to do that, because so many of us go to work every day and we're just, I'm gonna punch the clock at this time and this time, I'm gonna do this, and we're overwhelmed with paperwork, we're stressed, and it's like, where's the life in that? You have to be a holistic, rounded person to be able to develop in every area, so you won't get overwhelmed in just one area, because work can stress you and kill you. So you want to make sure that you don't let work affect you the way that it could affect a lot of other people.
I'm not going out like that.
No, not a 9 to 5. We
not.
can't do that.
I'm not. I got
Too much life in me and too much idea.
Yes.
So, and that's the message that you're giving to your clients. So can you just do you have anything you want to leave us with before we go?
I really just want to leave you guys with, don't just work. You have a gift. You have an opportunity to use your gift to help other people, which is why we were created. Don't lose sight of why you were created. You were created for a purpose. You have gifts to fulfill that purpose. But most importantly, those gifts are meant to help other people and develop them and bring them to a place where they can thrive just like you are.
All right.
sitting next to, but now I know. Now I know. So I just want to thank owners Derek and Tara Purnell for having me as your host at the Backhouse. They've provided such a wonderful atmosphere. I want to thank our studio audience for coming out tonight. I want to thank the chef. You guys are going to miss the food, but I want to thank the chef, Mr. Derek Purnell, who puts it down every single time. So if you're thinking about having your event here, if you're thinking about having it catered, you want to come to the Backhouse. And I also want to thank Mary Consulting. I want to thank her. Marie Consulting. It's my eyes. I'm sorry?
Irene Marie.
I want to thank Irene Marie Consulting, owner Christina Mendez. I'm human, so I had to hear what she was saying, so I get this right. Because this lady paid for this segment, and I want to make sure she gets her credit.
That's right.
So I want to thank her, Irene Marie Consulting. Thank you so much for sponsoring this segment. And I also want you to know what she offers. She offers LinkedIn services, resume services, career development, interview coaching, and much more. Her information is in the comments. This has been live at the Backhouse with Coach V. Von Ciel. We will see you again. Thank you.
Thank you.